The galaxy shimmered in the cold light of 1,000 suns. At the very center of it all floated the citadel of the Galactic Council, a massive ring-shaped station larger than any planet's moon. It was said that decisions made here shaped the fate of entire civilizations. Inside the grand hall, hundreds of alien delegates sat in their crystal chambers. Their voices filled the air like a storm. Deep, sharp, and full of fear, they were all speaking about one thing: a young, unpredictable species, humans. For centuries, humanity had remained hidden on their small blue world, fighting wars among themselves, exploring space in tiny ships, and slowly growing stronger. But after the recent Terran expansion, the humans had finally stepped into galactic space. They built colonies, sent exploration fleets, and even won battles against minor alien factions. Now, the Council feared them. The High Speaker of the Council, an ancient alien whose glowing skin pulsed with light, raised his long arms to silence the room. "Order," he said, in a voice that echoed across the chamber. "We are gathered here to decide the fate of the Terran species, the humans." The hall grew quiet. Only the hum of energy fields could be heard. A reptilian ambassador hissed, "They are dangerous. Their wars destroyed half their own world. They have no unity, no respect for law." A silver-skinned being from the Zothan Empire spoke next. "Their technology grows too fast. They reverse-engineer everything they see. If left unchecked, they will challenge our rule." Whispers spread around the chamber. Fear was everywhere. Then the High Speaker spoke again. "The Council has decided. The human race will be tested. They will submit a tribute of loyalty, raw materials, energy cores, and genetic samples to prove they understand their place." A murmur of agreement rippled through the assembly. But one ambassador, an older, calm being from the Arcturan colonies, raised a trembling hand. "High Speaker," he said softly, "do you truly believe they will obey?" The High Speaker's glowing eyes dimmed. "All species obey the Council," he said, "or they are reminded why they must." 2 days later, a vast Council communication beacon turned toward the Sol system. A bright pulse of energy shot through hyperspace, a message traveling faster than light, heading straight toward Earth. On Earth, in a quiet orbital station above the moon, human officers watched the signal arrive. The message decoded itself on their holographic screens. It was simple, yet heavy with arrogance. "To the leaders of humanity, the Galactic Council demands your tribute. Deliver your obedience within 1 rotation of your planet, or your species will be declared a threat to peace." The human officers sat in silence. No one spoke. Commander Aria Holt, the head of Earth's Defense Council, finally stood. Her voice was calm but cold. "So, they demand tribute," she said, "like we're some conquered world." A younger officer frowned. "What do we do, Commander?" "If we refuse, they'll send their fleets." Aria walked toward the large window, looking down at Earth, glowing blue and peaceful below. "Let them," she whispered. Meanwhile, back in the Citadel, the Galactic Council waited. The High Speaker stood before the assembly. "The humans have received our message," he announced. "Now we wait for their answer." Hours turned into days. No response came. The Council began to grow restless. One delegate sneered, "They are arrogant fools. They think silence will protect them." Another said, "Maybe they are afraid to speak. Their tiny world is no match for our fleets." But the Arcturan ambassador, the one who had warned them, sat quietly. His dark eyes stared into the holographic display showing the human homeworld. "Do not mistake silence for weakness," he muttered. The High Speaker laughed. "Weakness or not, they will learn their place soon." Just then, a new signal appeared. A human transmission, encrypted, brief, and strangely small. The Council's decoding systems worked quickly. Lines of alien text scrolled across the screens. The lights flickered. The room fell silent. The transmission contained only one word. The High Speaker leaned forward. "What does it say?" he demanded. An aide stammered, It says... No, the chamber erupted in noise. "No," one ambassador shouted. "That cannot be all." "Is that a threat, a joke?" "How dare they?" The high speaker rose to his full height, his glowing body pulsing red with fury. "Send word to the fleets," he thundered. "Prepare the armies. Humanity has defied the council." The room trembled with energy. The decision was made. Across the galaxy, war engines began to wake. But far away, on the dark side of Earth's moon, hidden ships powered up in silence. Their lights glowed faintly blue, and their weapons hummed with energy. Commander Arya watched from her command deck, eyes fixed on the stars. "They wanted tribute," she said quietly. "We'll give them an answer they'll never forget." And so, the galaxy demanded obedience. But humanity, for the first time in history, spoke to the stars with one word: no. Silence. That was the first thing that spread through the Citadel after humanity's reply was received. One single word: no. The word echoed through the great halls of the Galactic Council like a thunderclap in an empty valley. It was short, defiant, and filled with something no alien could quite understand: courage. Delegates from 100 different species argued in panic and disbelief. Their voices rose and clashed like a storm. "They defy the council," one cried. "No one refuses the tribute," shouted another. "They are mad. Do they not know what happens to rebels?" The high speaker sat on his throne of light, unmoving. His eyes burned like twin suns. "Silence," he commanded, and the voices died down instantly. He leaned forward, speaking in a calm, icy tone. "Prepare the fleets. If they will not bow, then they will burn." The council chamber fell deadly quiet. Even the bravest delegates avoided meeting his eyes. Only the Arcturan ambassador dared to speak. "High Speaker," he said softly, "forgive me, but this may not be wise. Humans, they are not like the others." The High Speaker turned toward him. "Explain," the Arcturan sighed, his voice slow and heavy. "Their world breeds chaos. They have fought each other for thousands of years, yet every time they rise again. They learn faster than any species I've seen. And when they are cornered—" He paused, his dark gaze distant. "They bite." The High Speaker dismissed him with a wave. "Let them bite. We are the Council. We have ruled for 10,000 years. No primitive world can challenge our power." The chamber's great lights dimmed as war orders were sent across the galaxy. Fleets began to mobilize. Hundreds of battle cruisers, dreadnoughts, and destroyers shifted course toward the small blue world known as Earth. Meanwhile, light years away, on the edge of Sol System, a lone human listening post picked up the faint signals of incoming fleets. Commander Arya Holt stood on the bridge of the Resolute, her face illuminated by the soft glow of holographic screens. Reports flowed in rapidly. "Multiple fleets detected, Commander. Estimated arrival, 12 hours." Arya's jaw tightened. "So they're coming," she said quietly. Her second-in-command, Captain Reyes, frowned. "Do we stand a chance?" Arya turned, her eyes cold but sharp. "They think we're still the same humans from their old records, the ones fighting over dirt and oil. But we've changed." She looked out into the vast blackness of space, where hidden defense stations and stealth fleets waited silently. "We've been preparing for this day." Back on the Citadel, the Council watched the approaching invasion on their holographic maps. Thousands of alien ships formed a wall of power. "This will be quick," one delegate said confidently. "Humanity will surrender once they see our armada." The High Speaker nodded. "When we arrive, they will learn the meaning of fear." But in the shadows behind the chamber, the Arcturan ambassador whispered to himself, "Or perhaps we will." Hours later, the alien fleets exited hyperspace near Earth, the dark void lit up with energy trails and burning plasma. The commander of the lead alien dreadnought sent a wide-frequency transmission. "This is Supreme Commander Raal of the Galactic Council Fleet. Humanity, you have violated interstellar law. You will surrender immediately." For a long moment there was no response. Then a voice came through, calm, female, human. "This is Commander Arya Holt of Earth Defense Command. Your message has been received." The alien commander smirked. "Then you understand the consequences of your defiance?" "Yes," she said. "We do." Silence again. Then she added in a voice like steel, "Stand by for our reply." Before the alien commander could respond, the blackness of space erupted. From behind the moon, dozens of massive human warships emerged, their hulls matte black, absorbing light. Their engines glowed blue, humming like thunder. The alien commander's smile faded. What is this?" he whispered. Sensors began to scream. Human ships weren't just war-ready. They were armed with weapons no one in the galaxy had ever seen before. The first human volley hit like a sledgehammer. Blinding white light streaked across the void, ripping through alien shields as if they were paper. One dreadnought exploded instantly, scattering molten metal into the darkness. The galactic fleet panicked. "They are using energy signatures we've never seen," shouted one alien officer. "Our systems are failing. Shields collapsing." In the Citadel, the Council watched in horror as live feeds showed their proud fleets breaking apart. The High Speaker slammed his hands on the console. "How is this possible? Their world is primitive." The Arcturan ambassador lowered his head. "Not primitive, prepared." Back aboard the Resolute, Commander Arya watched the battle unfold. "Status report," she demanded. "Enemy formation break-in, ma'am. Their command ship is retreating." A faint smile crossed her lips. "Let them run. They'll carry our message back." Captain Reyes turned to her. "What message?" Arya looked into the stars. "That humanity doesn't bow to anyone." In the silence of deep space, the human fleet regrouped. The alien remnants limped away, engines failing, communications in chaos. One word had started this war. But now, the galaxy understood the true meaning behind it. No, wasn't just refusal. It was a declaration, a promise, and humanity had just proven that they were not subjects of the galaxy. They were its next great power. The Galactic Council had demanded obedience, but all they received was war. And this was only the beginning. The stars were silent once again. Where moments ago, a massive alien fleet had floated with pride and confidence, now only broken ships and drifting metal remained. The Galactic Council's armada, once feared across 1,000 worlds, was in ruins. The humans had not only survived, they had won. Commander Arya Holt stood on the bridge of the Resolute, her face lit by the soft blue glow of tactical displays. "All alien ships confirmed destroyed or retreating," said Captain Reyes. Arya nodded, calm but focused. "Good, begin rescue scans. Pick up survivors if they don't resist." Reyes blinked. "Survivors? After what they did?" Arya turned toward him. "We're not monsters. We fight when we must, not because we enjoy it." Her voice was steady, cold steel wrapped in quiet control. Outside the ship's large window, the wreckage of alien cruisers floated through space. Fires still burned inside shattered hulls. From Earth, humanity watched, millions of eyes staring up at the night sky, knowing history had just changed forever. Meanwhile, in the Citadel, the council chamber was in chaos. Delegates shouted over one another. Some demanded immediate retaliation. Others wanted peace. Fear hung heavy in the air. "The humans destroyed our entire fleet," one cried. "This is impossible." "They were supposed to be primitive," shouted another. The High Speaker slammed his hands against the crystal table, sending shockwaves through the chamber. "Enough," he roared. His glowing body flickered with anger. "You call yourselves leaders, yet you tremble before one small species." An alien ambassador from the Drakari Alliance hissed in rage. "Small. They just crushed a fleet that could wipe out 3 empires. You don't understand them." The High Speaker turned sharply. "Then enlighten us, Drakari." The ambassador's wings folded tight against his back. "Humans don't fight to conquer. They fight to survive. That's what makes them dangerous. They don't need numbers. They need a reason." The chamber fell quiet. Every delegate felt a cold shiver. The High Speaker finally spoke again, his voice low and bitter. "If survival is their reason, then we shall give them extinction." He turned toward his war advisors. "Gather every fleet, every weapon, every ally. We will erase their world from the stars, back in Sol System." On a human command station orbiting Mars, Arya and her officers studied intercepted transmissions from the Council. Their Planning something big, said Reyes. Our analysts say multiple fleets are converging near the Vega cluster. Arya frowned. That's less than 10 light years from us? Her communications officer looked up. Ma'am, we're picking up encrypted chatter. They're calling it Operation Cleansing Fire. Arya's eyes narrowed. They're coming again, she said. And this time, they won't make the same mistake. Reyes crossed his arms. We barely survived the first battle. What if they send everything? A small smile crossed Arya's lips. Then we show them everything we've been hiding. Hours later, deep beneath Earth's surface, in an underground hangar hidden from alien sensors, massive blast doors opened for the first time in decades. Rows of colossal ships rested inside, silent, dark, and ancient-looking. But these weren't relics. They were Titans, Earth's experimental warships, built in secret under Project Aegis. Each one carried weapon systems far beyond anything known to the galaxy. Technology born from desperation, forged from lessons of countless wars. As engineers powered them up, the hangar shook with thunder. Engines flared bright blue, and a deep hum filled the air. In orbit, the stars seemed to shift as the Titans rose into the void. Arya watched from her command deck, her reflection shimmering in the viewport. Let them come, she whispered. We'll meet them in the dark, across the galaxy. In the Vega cluster, the largest gathering of fleets in galactic history was forming. Over 2,000 alien warships surrounded the massive flagship Divinity's Wrath, led by the High Speaker himself. He gazed out from his command throne, his voice echoing across his ships. This is not just war. This is a message. No species defies the Council and lives. The fleet engines roared. Space folded as hyperspace gates opened, and the Armada began its final march toward Earth. But unknown to them, humanity was already waiting. The trap. When the alien fleet exited hyperspace near the edge of the solar system, they expected chaos and fear. Instead, they found silence. No ships, no movement. No signals, just the cold, empty dark. Scans. The alien commander asked nervously. Nothing, sir. No readings. It's like they're gone. A moment later, every alien ship's radar lit up red. Thousands of contacts appeared all at once, surrounding them from all directions. Out of the darkness, human ships uncloaked, Titans, carriers, and stealth destroyers. They had been waiting inside asteroid fields, hiding in shadows. Arya's voice came through the comms, calm, confident. Council fleet, this is Commander Holt of Earth. You shouldn't have come. The High Speaker's eyes widened as he recognized the voice. You think you can defeat us again, human? Arya smiled faintly. We don't think, Speaker. We know. Her hand came down on the command console. Fire. The blackness of space exploded with blinding light. Human Titans unleashed their power, beams of energy so intense they tore through warships in seconds. Entire enemy formations vanished in fire. Alien ships tried to retreat, but their drives overloaded from the shockwaves. Communication broke down. The once mighty Armada turned into chaos. Within minutes, half the Galactic Council fleet was gone. The High Speaker's ship trembled under impact. Impossible, he shouted. They are using technology that should not exist. The Arcturan ambassador's words echoed in his mind. Do not mistake silence for weakness. He finally understood. But it was too late. Back aboard the Resolute, Arya watched as the last alien flagship exploded into a burst of orange fire. Reyes exhaled slowly. It's over. Arya shook her head. No, this is just the beginning. The galaxy will never forget this day. The Council's Armada had come to end humanity. But instead, they were the ones shattered among the stars. And in that silence, a new power rose, humanity. The stars were quiet once more. But that silence was not peace. It was fear. Across the galaxy, the news spread faster than light. The invincible fleets of the Galactic Council, the same fleets that had ruled for 10,000 years, were gone. Destroyed by a single word, and by the humans who dared to speak it. In the outer colonies, in the crowded marketplaces of distant planets, aliens whispered the story like a myth. They said no to the council, one trader murmured. Impossible, said another. No one says no and survives. But then came the recordings, holograms of human ships tearing through dreadnoughts, of Commander Arya Holt standing calm as stars burned behind her. The whispers grew into awe, into something dangerous, into hope. Whole worlds that once bowed to the council began to question their masters. If humans could resist, maybe they could too. Meanwhile, on the Citadel, the council chamber was darker than ever before. Half the delegates' seats were empty, their fleets gone, their leaders lost. The High Speaker stood before the survivors, his glowing skin dim with fury. This rebellion cannot be allowed to spread, he growled. If the galaxy believes the council can be defied, we are finished. An insectoid delegate buzzed nervously. What do we do? Our fleets are crippled, our people are afraid. The High Speaker turned toward the shadows. Then we find new weapons, he said coldly. If we cannot crush humanity with strength, we will destroy them from within. The chamber stirred uneasily. What do you mean? The High Speaker's voice was calm, chilling. They think they are united, but they are still human, prideful, divided, emotional. We will make them turn on each other. We will make them destroy themselves. Back on Earth, the sky above the capital city shimmered with the trails of returning ships. The world celebrated victory, lights, cheers, and endless waves of pride. For the first time, Earth was not afraid. It was admired. Commander Arya Holt stood in the command center, looking down at the celebrations from a tall window. Captain Reyes walked in, smiling. They're calling you the Iron Commander now, he said. Arya didn't smile. Let them call me what they want. We lost too many for celebration. Reyes looked down. Still, you did it. You showed them humanity won't bow. She turned to face him. No, Reyes, we showed them. Every human ship, every soldier, every soul that stood when the galaxy told them to kneel. There was pride in her voice, but also something else. A sense of unease. She turned back to the stars. The council isn't finished. Not yet, they'll come again. But next time, not with fleets. Weeks later, strange reports began to reach the human colonies. Ships vanishing in deep space. Encrypted messages appearing in communication networks. Whispers of rebellion, anger, and betrayal. On Mars, a cargo freighter exploded while refueling. On Titan, a governor was found dead in his quarters. His systems hacked by unknown code. Someone or something was spreading chaos. Arya sat in the war room. Holograms floating around her, images of riots, sabotage, and political division. She clenched her jaw. They're trying to break us from the inside, Reyes nodded grimly. They can't win with fleets, so now they're using fear. Arya looked up. Then we fight fear with truth. Elsewhere, far from Earth, a lone alien ship drifted through deep space. Inside, the Arcturan ambassador sat before a glowing console. He had defied the council after the last battle, refusing to take part in their revenge. Now, he sent a secret message, not to the council, but to humans. Commander Arya Holt, his message began. The council will not stop. But know this, not all of us stand with them. There are others who believe your defiance is righteous. You have awakened something far greater than war. He paused, looking at the stars. They call you dangerous. But perhaps you are necessary. He pressed send. The signal vanished into the void. On the Citadel, the High Speaker watched the chaos unfold on a holographic display. Human riots, colony fires, political infighting. He smiled for the first time in months. It begins, he whispered. They will crumble on their own. But deep within the shadows, another figure stepped forward, cloaked, unseen. My speaker, the figure said, there is one problem. The High Speaker turned sharply. What problem? The cloaked one smiled, a strange, knowing smile. They are learning, even faster than before. Every attack we send, they grow stronger. The High Speaker's glow dimmed slightly. Then we'll burn their world if we must. The cloaked figure chuckled softly. Perhaps, my speaker. But remember, fire spreads. On Earth, Midnight Commander Arya sat alone in her quarters. The stars outside her window were quiet, peaceful, but she could feel it. The galaxy was changing. A knock came at the door. Reyes entered, holding a small data chip. "This came through the outer relay," he said. "Encrypted, but it's using an alien code." Arya took the chip, slid it into her console. The hologram flickered to life. The image of the Arcturan ambassador appeared. His voice was calm, almost sad. "Commander Holt, they are planning something far worse than war. They have found a weapon," the message cut off. Static filled the room. Reyes stepped closer. "A weapon?" Arya stood slowly, her eyes narrowing. "Then we find it first." The galaxy trembled at humanity's defiance. But in the darkness beyond the stars, something far greater was stirring. The war was not over. It was only changing its face. The stars above Earth looked calm, but every radar and sensor across the system told a different story. The galaxy was moving again, and this time it wasn't with fleets or armies. It was with something unknown. Commander Arya Holt stood inside the main command room of the Earth Defense Council. Screens surrounded her, showing images from across the colonies. Strange energy readings, missing ships, strange signals that came and disappeared like ghosts. Captain Reyes stood beside her, arms crossed. "Same signature again, ma'am. The energy spikes match no known alien tech." It's older," Arya frowned. "Older than the Council?" Reyes nodded slowly. "Much older." The message, the alien message, had arrived 3 days earlier, sent by the Arcturan ambassador, the only council member who had tried to warn them before. It was short. It mentioned only one phrase: "They have found the vault." Arya had spent the last 3 days trying to decode what that meant. Now she was starting to understand. She looked at the map on the display, a massive star cluster far beyond known space. "The vault," she murmured. "It's not a weapon they built. It's something they found," Reyes frowned. "And if the Council wants it, it can't be good news," Arya nodded. "Prepare a team. We're going after it." Deep in the Vega expanse far, beyond the reach of normal space lanes, the Galactic Council's secret fleet floated in orbit around a dying star. At the center of it, surrounded by layers of energy shields, was a massive structure, dark, ancient, and silent. It looked more like a tomb than a station. The High Speaker stood aboard his flagship, staring at it with cold pride. "This is the Vault of Origin," he said softly. "The weapon that ended the first civilization." His science commander bowed. "My Speaker, we have only partially activated it. Its systems are beyond our understanding." The High Speaker smiled. "Then we don't need to understand it. We only need to point it at Earth." The weapon pulsed faintly with golden light. The stars around it seemed to bend, as if reality itself feared it. The human mission. The next day, Commander Arya's stealth ship, the Horizon, slipped silently into deep space. Only her most trusted crew were aboard. The mission was off the record. Their destination, the Vega expanse. The Horizon moved through the void like a shadow, its hull absorbing light. Inside, the air was tense. Reyes leaned over the console. "We're entering Council space, ma'am. Any wrong move and we're done." Arya's gaze was steady. "We've faced worse." Suddenly the ship's sensors flashed red. Massive energy reading ahead. The main screen lit up, and there it was, a giant structure floating in the dark. Black stone, golden energy lines, and a storm of distorted light surrounding it. Reyes whispered, "What is that?" Arya stared in awe. "That must be the vault, the discovery." They moved closer. The structure didn't look built. It looked grown, like something alive that had fallen asleep for eons. Arya turned to her science officer. "Scan it. Trying, ma'am. But the readings don't make sense. It's older than the galaxy. It's like it was here before us." A chill ran through the room. Arya whispered, "Before any of us existed." Suddenly the ship's lights flickered. Something, or someone, was scanning them. Reyes shouted, "We've been detected." "By the Council?" Arya asked. He shook his head. "No, by the vault itself." Inside the vault a voice echoed through the dark, not through speakers, but inside their minds. It wasn't human. It wasn't alien. It was ancient. "You are not the first." Arya froze. "What was that?" The voice continued. They seek my power as others did before. But my purpose is not destruction. It is judgment." The room went silent. Even the ship's hum seemed to fade. Reyes whispered, "It's alive." Arya stepped forward. "What are you?" "I am what your kind calls a weapon," the voice replied. "But I'm not meant to destroy. I awaken only when arrogance reaches the stars." Arya's eyes widened. "You mean the Council?" "And now you." The ship trembled. Warning alarms blared. "Ma'am," Reyes shouted. "It's powering up." Back at the Citadel, the High Speaker watched from his flagship as the vault's golden light flared across the void. "Yes," he whispered. "Wake up, awaken, great weapon. Obey your masters once more." But something was wrong. The energy wave began to grow, beyond control. His scientists screamed, "My speaker! It's not responding to commands. It's activating on its own." The High Speaker's eyes widened. "Impossible. Shut it down." But it was too late. The vault's light pulsed like a heartbeat and spread outward across systems, across stars. On the horizon, the human ship rocked violently. Alarm screamed. Reyes shouted over the noise. "It's releasing energy everywhere. Whole systems are collapsing." Arya gritted her teeth. "Get us clear, now!" As the ship turned, the golden wave passed through them. Everything stopped. For a second, there was no sound, no movement. Then a flash of memory. Arya saw visions, not her own, but the galaxy's past. Worlds burning, civilizations wiped out, and a council rising from the ashes of a dead empire. She gasped, clutching her head. "The vault!" "It's not a weapon," she said. "It's history's punishment." The horizon escaped just as the vault imploded, sucking the council's nearby ships into a vortex of light. When the light faded, half the Vega expanse was gone. Ishria looked back at the dark emptiness. "They wanted power," she said quietly. "They got judgment." Reyes turned to her. "And now?" She looked toward the stars. "Now the galaxy knows what they tried to unleash, and it knows who stopped them." Meanwhile, in the ruins of the Vega expanse, a faint golden spark flickered. A small fragment of the vault remained, floating, watching. And deep within it, the ancient voice whispered one final word: "Not yet." The council had reached for the power of gods and found their own destruction. But the vault's awakening had changed something deeper, something waiting beyond the stars. The stars were silent again. The great storm in the Vega expanse had ended, but its echoes still moved through the galaxy like a whisper of judgment. For the first time in centuries, the Galactic Council was gone. Its fleets had been reduced to wreckage, its worlds dark and trembling, and somewhere, far from the chaos, humanity watched. The aftermath on Earth, news spread fast. The alien empire that once ruled the stars had fallen. But there was no celebration. People stared at the skies, wondering what had really happened. Commander Arya Holt sat alone inside the Earth Defense Council's observation deck. Outside the window, the night sky shimmered faintly with dust from distant destroyed systems. Captain Reyes entered quietly. The Council worlds are silent. No signals, no transmissions. Arya didn't look up. And the vault. He hesitated. "Gone, ma'am. Nothing left but static energy in that region." She nodded slowly. "It's not gone, Reyes. Things like that don't disappear. They wait." The human choice. Later that night, Arya stood before the United Planetary Assembly, a chamber filled with ambassadors, soldiers, and civilians. Everyone waited for her words. "Humanity didn't win this war with weapons," she began. "We won because we refused to kneel." A soft murmur filled the hall. They wanted tribute, they wanted obedience, but we gave them one word, and that word shattered an empire. She paused, letting the silence settle. Reyes watched from the side, proud and uneasy at the same time. Arya continued, "But now the galaxy has no rulers. The question is, what do we become next?" No one answered, because everyone knew, whatever humanity became next, the stars would never be the same. The signal days later, far from Earth, deep space satellites picked up something strange. A pulse. One steady, rhythmic beat. It came from the exact coordinates of the destroyed vault. At first, the analysts thought it was random noise. Then they noticed the pattern. It was a message, and it was written in human code. Aboard the Horizon Aria, and Reyes returned to the Horizon, now upgraded with new sensors. The bridge was quiet as the signal played through the speakers. A low hum, then a faint voice. Reyes frowned. It sounds like words. The AI translated slowly. Humanity. Chosen. The vault still watches. Balance must remain. Aria froze. It's communicating again. Reyes looked uneasy. I thought the vault was a weapon. She shook her head. Maybe it was never meant to destroy. Maybe it was testing who deserves to survive. The return weeks passed. The human fleet ventured deeper into the dead zones once ruled by the Council. They found fragments. Pieces of old alien ships fused into glass, planets turned into silent monuments, and yet life continued. New colonies rose where empires had fallen. For the first time, smaller species reached out to humans, not as masters, not as rulers, but as equals. A new order was forming, not a council, but a coalition, led by the ones who had dared to say no. The awakening one night, as the horizon drifted beyond known space, the stars themselves began to move. At first, the crew thought it was a visual glitch, until the constellations shifted in perfect rhythm. Reyes whispered, "Are the stars aligning?" Aria watched in awe. "No, something is waking up." A golden ripple spread across the void, gentle but endless. It wasn't destructive this time. It was like light greeting light. The ship's AI spoke softly. Multiple signals detected, identical to the vault. Reyes looked shocked. "There's more than one?" Aria's voice was calm but steady. "Of course there is. The galaxy was built on balance. The vault was only one of many." She turned toward the viewing glass, eyes reflecting the golden glow. "The test isn't over. It's only beginning." Epilogue. The word that changed everything. Months later, historians tried to understand what had truly happened. They studied the Council's downfall, the mysterious vault, the humans' defiance, and every record led back to the same question. What was the one word humanity had said? Some said it was freedom. Others believed it was no. But those who knew Aria and her crew understood better. That one word wasn't about power or defiance or pride. It was about choice. Because when the galaxy demanded humanity's obedience, humanity simply answered, never. The Galactic Council had ruled the stars for ages, until one word ended it all. In the silence that followed, humanity didn't just survive. They awakened something greater. Because in every corner of the galaxy, the vaults are stirring, and the universe is listening again.